I found this metal object embedded in stone on a beach in Greece in the 1970s. It measures about 4.5 by 4.5 by 5 centimeters and might be made of brass. It sounds like it could be hollow because there's something rattling inside when I shake it. Does anyone have any idea what this might be? What you found is the fuse from a 2-inch British mortar round. The top screws off the mortar, revealing the distinctive cross pattern on the top of the fuse. The 2-inch mortar was widely used by the British Army and Commonwealth forces during and after World War II. It could fire a variety of shells, including high explosive, white phosphorus smoke, titanium tetrachloride smoke, illumination, and multi-star signal shells. I found this object in an old rural house in Cantal, Auvergne, France. It looks like a machete, measuring about 45 centimeters long and 15 centimeters wide. It's not sharp, but it shows signs of use. Does anyone have any idea what this might have been used for? What you found might be a ramdao, a traditional weapon originating from Nepal and India. The ramdao is a large, heavy blade, often used in ceremonial sacrifices, particularly during religious festivals like Durga Puja. It has a distinctive, wide, and curved blade that can resemble a machete. The ramdao was specifically used for rituals involving the sacrifice of animals, with a design that allowed it to deliver powerful cuts. Historically, the ramdao was wielded by a specific group of individuals known as kajis, or butchers, who were responsible for performing the sacrifices. These blades hold significant cultural importance in the regions where they originated, symbolizing power and devotion to deities. Ramdaos are often depicted in Hindu religious imagery, being wielded by goddesses like Durga and Kali. I found this metal ball weighing about 8 pounds and measuring 3 inches in diameter at an abandoned psych asylum. It has a side slot and a chain that screws into it. The asylum was abandoned roughly 40 years ago, and since it had a lot of land, it might be related to grounds maintenance. Does anyone have any idea what this could be used for? What you found is likely a cast iron gate closer weight. These weights were commonly used to help gates close smoothly and automatically. The weight would attach to a chain running through the slot with a bolt locking it in place. The weight pulls on the chain, helping to swing the gate closed. The slot keeps the weight steady on the chain, reducing movement. This kind of mechanism is less common today as lighter and cheaper spring closers have replaced them. I found this seal-like object near Jerish, Jordan. It has a cross and some script on the front, with small grooves on the backside. I suspect it might be a Byzantine seal given the cross and the design on the back. It seems to be made of copper or a similar alloy. Can anyone help me identify it more precisely? What you found looks to be an artifact from the Crusade times. The first 3 crusades were defensive actions to fight off Muslim attacks on the Byzantine Empire, which had the Eastern Orthodox Church as its religious center. The Byzantines sought the help of the Roman Catholic Church and their armies for this defense. This artifact would likely be from the Byzantines as it bears their cross. It is probably a top button of a jerkin or top layer shirt, secured with leather, which explains the broad base. This piece could be around 900 years old, dating back to the time of the Third Crusade, which took place between 1189 and 1192. I found a metal cylinder weighing around 8 to 10 ounces and measuring about 6 inches in length. Can anyone help identify this item? What you found is likely a time capsule. Later, the original poster on Reddit provided an update, sharing that this cylinder was part of a time capsule buried in June 1970 and unearthed in 2020 on the courthouse lawn in East Tennessee. The capsule was a pine coffin sealed in a concrete vault, buried by a group of local business people and a couple of local historians. The original poster managed to open the cylinder, and inside was a paper listing the names of those who buried the capsule. Now, the cylinder is displayed in a local library where the poster works as a director and is one of the few surviving relics from the time capsule. My mom was going through some old family photos and got curious about the boxes in this picture. The photo was taken in the early 1900s in a store somewhere in northern Idaho. Each box has a swastika and some writing on it. I tried to read the writing, but it's too blurry. Does anyone know what these boxes might be? What you found is likely related to the swastika brand, which was used for cigars around 1911. The spacing in the brand name also matches the blurred letters on the boxes, suggesting a connection. At that time, the swastika symbol was commonly associated with good luck and prosperity, well before its association with the Nazi Party in the 20th century. This symbol appeared on various products as a sign of positive fortune. The boxes might have been used to store or display these cigars. I found a small wooden object about 3 inches long with a screw in the middle. Does anyone have any idea what this might be? What you found is likely a pool cue thread protector. These small wooden pieces are designed to cover and protect the threaded ends of a pool cue when it is disassembled into 2 parts for transport. The screw in the middle allows the protector to attach securely to the cue, preventing damage to the threads and ensuring a proper fit when reassembled. I found a ceramic pair among salt and pepper shakers, but unlike the others, they don't have any holes on the bottom to be refilled. Does anyone know what these ceramic figures might be? What you found is a pair of vintage perfume bottles from the 1920s to the 1930s, made in what was then known as Prussia, which is now part of Germany, by the Sitzendorf Company. The bottle depicts a Chinese scholar in lavish yellow and blue robes, with a crown-shaped stopper in a gold hue. These pairs are quite valuable today, with some selling for around $700. I found 10 of these in my granddad's house. He's 88 years old. Each one weighs roughly 6.5 kilograms with a height of 17 inches, a width of 12 inches, and a depth of 5 inches. Does anyone know what these might be? What you found is a reel rack designed for feeding film into a film editing splicer, manufactured by a company called Films and Equipments Limited. Before digital editing, films were edited manually by cutting and splicing segments of film from different reels. This process required precision and was quite labor-intensive, as editors had to carefully handle multiple film reels to create a seamless sequence. I found something strange in my snack mix from Target. It has a hole on one end and a screw-in end on the other. It looks almost like a whipped cream canister, but feels like plastic. Does anyone know what this could be? What you found is likely a muffler used in pneumatic industrial equipment. It's designed to muffle the exhaust from valves or manifolds, reducing noise and controlling airflow. While they have various applications, valve manifolds are a common use case. The hole in your find suggests it may be a specific design to allow for controlled airflow during use. Because it's made of plastic, it's possible that the metal detector used in quality control might not have detected it before the snack mix was packaged. I found a cast iron shaft in the marsh on my property. The top of the shaft is threaded, has a keyway, and what seems to be a gear. I have no idea how deep it's embedded, but I definitely can't move it by hand. Does anyone know what this might have been used for? What you found is the worm and drive shaft from a 1928 to 1929 Model AA Ford rear end. These parts were often repurposed after their original use. It's possible that this particular shaft was used as a property marker, as surveyors sometimes use objects like rebar or even old truck axles to mark property boundaries. It might be a good idea to check with your local government surveyors before attempting to move or remove it, just to be sure it isn't marking a boundary or other important point. I found this wooden box without a lid at an antique store. It has a strange pattern inside and measures approximately 18 inches by 30 inches by 3 inches. The sales lady told me to read the tag, which says L mold. Does anyone know what this might be used for? What you found is a pattern for a mold used in casting, specifically for creating a heat exchange component for a firebox or wood stove. The wooden pattern is used to create a sand mold, which is then filled with molten metal to form the final casting. The protrusions inside the box serve to increase the surface area of the final casting, allowing it to transfer heat more efficiently. Each of the protrusions has what's called draft, which means they are slightly tapered so that the pattern can be easily removed from the sand mold without disturbing the shape. This particular part would be for the bottom of the mold. The top part of the mold would be simpler, with fewer features, and would include sprue holes for pouring the molten metal into the mold. In the last video, I asked you to guess what that small, curved metal piece on the bicycle frame was for. Most of you got it right. It's actually designed to hold an air pump. The pump fits securely between that hook and the top hook on the frame, allowing it to always be within reach. Thanks to everyone who shared their guesses in the comments. The first person to guess correctly was user Will Perry. All right, it's time for another mystery item. Take a look at this one. It's a woven object hanging on the wall made from what looks like bamboo or a similar natural plant material. What do you think this could be used for? Leave your guesses in the comments below, and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Your support motivates me to create more videos. See you next time.